Minerals are inorganic food substances. They are needed in small amounts compared with carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins. We need more proteins, we need more lipids, we need more carbohydrates because they can provide energy, and proteins particularly can provide building blocks for growth. And we need more of these. But compare with these major food substances, minerals are needed in smaller amounts. They have no energy value. They are responsible for regulating metabolic reactions. Metabolic reaction literally means chemical reactions inside the cell. They are also responsible, the minerals, they are also responsible for building body tissues. For example, calcium is required in the building of bones, and irons are responsible for building red blood cells and the hemoglobins of red blood cells, which we will account for very soon in the short future. A number of these minerals that are required by our body are namely calcium, iron, sodium, iodine, potassium, and phosphorus, to name just a few. Um, in the DSE syllabus, we are only required to focus on calcium and iron. Now we will focus on calcium right now. The function of calcium is to serve as a component of bones and teeth. There are different components inside the bones, including collagen, 骨膠原, phosphorus, and calcium, of course. Calcium is also involved in blood clotting, where there is coagulation of blood, which soluble protein turns into insoluble proteins. Calcium is a very important factor in this process, blood clotting. Calcium is also involved in muscle contraction. The shortening of the cells of the muscle in muscle contraction need to be initiated by calcium ion. Calcium is also involved in the sending of messages. Literally, we call them nerve impulses. These nerve impulses, the transmission of these nerve impulses in the nervous system, which spread throughout our body, require calcium. Deficiency of calcium will result in rickets in children. Children with rickets have soft bones, and because these bones are soft, they cannot bear the weight of the upper body. As a result, the leg bones will bend as the bone grows longer and longer. For adult people, since the bones are already having their maximum length, they will not grow any longer. So as they ages, as calcium is lost from these bones, the bone will simply become more porous. In the case we called osteoporosis. Here you can see in the case of osteoporosis, the bones are literally full of holes. And we usually say these holes are pores. And now you can see that there are many pores and the pores are bigger than usual. We say that the bones are porous. These bones, being porous and brittle, cannot bear weight, so they are easily broken. A lack of calcium in blood, calcium ion in blood, or a slight decrease in pH of the blood will cause calcium to dissolve out of the bone, leading to rickets or osteoporosis. As such, a replenishment of calcium ion in blood by eating more calcium-rich food may help revert deficiency disease such as osteoporosis and rickets. Dairy products such as cheese, yogurt, milk, and vegetables such as broccoli and spinach and kale and tofu, which is made from peas, are examples of calcium-rich food. Some drinks are artificially added with calcium. Iron has the function of being a component of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a protein, a molecule, or a pigment that is red. It is inside red blood cells. It is responsible for carrying oxygen. So to make hemoglobin, we need iron. When iron is not enough, there's not enough hemoglobin. As a result, there is less hemoglobin in red blood cells to carry oxygen. When the human body do not have enough oxygen, immediately the brain will be affected. You will feel dizzy and wanting to faint. In this case, we say the person is having a deficiency disease called anemia. Anemia may be cured by taking in more iron-rich food, such as cabbage, liver, beef, raisin, beans, and spinach. In contrast with minerals, which are inorganic substances, vitamins are organic food substances. Being organic is characterized by having carbon in the molecule. Vitamins are needed in small amounts. They have no energy value and they help regulate metabolic reactions. Metabolic reactions, as a reminder, are reactions that is carried out, chemical reactions that is carried out inside the body cells. There are two types of vitamins. One type is lipid soluble and the other type is water soluble. For lipid soluble vitamins such as vitamin A, D, E, and K, which you are required to learn only two of them, vitamin A and D, are absorbed with lipids in our diets. Your diet means the food you eat, and examples of lipid with a rich amount of vitamin A and D is fish liver oil. Because there is lipid under our skin and also lipid around internal organs such as liver, vitamin A and vitamin D and all these lipid soluble vitamins can be stored in large amounts. However, it is going to be harmful to your body if you allow them to be stored into a large amount. Water soluble vitamins, for example, vitamin B and C, of which you are only required to learn in depth vitamin C only. These vitamins mostly cannot be stored to a large amount in our body, cannot accumulate to a large amount in our body. Why? Because water will go out of our body through sweat and through our urine. Excess amounts of this vitamin B or vitamin C are excreted through urination and sweating. Thus, it is important to take in them regularly. A brief revision: water-soluble vitamins can dissolve in water easily. As a result, they go away in urine. In addition, vitamin C can be easily destroyed when exposed to high temperature and oxygen. Vitamin C breaks down easily at high temperature and when there is loss of oxygen, in a process called oxidation, that is the breakdown of a substance with the use of in the presence of oxygen. Now we will go in depth for different vitamins. We will learn the functions, the deficiency disease, and source of this vitamin. The function of vitamin A is that they are needed in the formation of a pigment called visual purple in the retina. A pigment is a molecule that is colored. This pigment, visual purple, is necessary for vision in dim light. Vitamin A also has an important role of keeping the cells of cornea, skin, and the lining, that means the surface cell, the epithelial cells of alimentary canal and breathing system in a healthy state. If you do not have enough vitamin A, that means when you have a deficiency in vitamin A, you may have night blindness. Night blindness is a completely inability to see in dim light. For example, when you wake up at night, you cannot even see a thing. Or sometimes a less severe situation is called poor vision in dim light. And since vitamin A helps to keep the cornea and the skin healthy, if there's not enough vitamin A, you will suffer from drying up of the cornea and the skin. Due to a lack of vitamin A, cells lining the surface of the lung and the inner surface of the trachea will also be easily infected by bacteria and other pathogens. That means the disease-causing agents such as virus and other microorganisms. Fish liver oil is rich in vitamin A because vitamin A dissolves in oil. So is liver, which has a lot of lipid in it. Other sources of vitamin A would be milk, dairy products, eggs, and margarine. Some vegetables and fruits, for example, carrots, pumpkin, sweet potatoes, and mangoes, contain an orange pigment called carotene. This pigment can be converted to vitamin A in our liver. The next vitamin we are going to go in depth would be vitamin D. The function of vitamin D helps promote the absorption of calcium and phosphate. Calcium and phosphate are the main components of bones and teeth, and since vitamin D helps them to be absorbed into our bones, they are essential. Also, vitamin D is essential for keeping our bones and teeth strong. As such, a deficiency in vitamin D will lead to rickets in children and osteoporosis in adults. If we go under the sunlight for 5 minutes every day, our skin will be able to produce enough vitamin D for us to use. Vitamin D can also be obtained from our diet. Fatty fish such as salmon and tuna, fish liver oil, liver and egg yolks are rich in vitamin D. The last vitamin that we will go in depth is vitamin C. The function of vitamin C is important for growth and repair of connective tissues. Vitamin C helps to keep our body structure in place. Connective tissue help to stick our organs in the correct places. You will have a better understanding of what connective tissue is when we come to the lesson where we have to dissect the mice. Vitamin C is also important in the healing of wounds. In plants, they also need vitamin C because it helps the absorption of iron up to the plant. Vitamin C also helps our immune system work properly. Because vitamin C is important in the growth and repair of connective tissue and also enable quick healing of wounds. A lack of vitamin C would cause weak and bleeding gums and poor healing of wounds. This situation is called scurvy. Other signs of the deficiency disease scurvy are small red spots on the skin and joint pain. Fresh vegetables and fruits, for example, pepper, Broccoli, guava, and kiwi fruits are rich in vitamin C. There is a very special test for the presence of vitamin C or the abundance of vitamin C by adding the food sample in solution form, of course, to DCPIP solution. The original blue color of DCPIP solution would become transparent, or we can simply say the blue DCPIP solution decolorizes. This is a positive result for DCPIP test to show that vitamin C is present, is there. Apart from testing whether vitamin C is there, is present in a particular food, DCPIP can also be used to compare the amount, the abundance, the vitamin C content of different food. The higher the amount of vitamin C, the fewer drops of the food in solution form are needed to decolorize the same volume of DCPIP solution. We are going to do a scientific investigation with the use of DCPIP test later on.